Today I'll share with you the pros and cons of living in Saint-Jérôme, Quebec. Saint-Jérôme used to have a bad reputation, but after watching this video, you'll find out if it's still the case or not. Let's start with the first con, traffic and congestion. Saint-Jérôme is a city situated about 45 kilometers north of Montreal. Its population has surpassed 83,250 people in 2024. Saint-Jérôme was created after a merger of 4 different cities: Bellefeuille, Saint-Antoine, Saint-Jérôme, and La Fontaine. So this city is located only 45 minutes north of Montreal, but still it's gonna take you a long drive to commute, specifically in the morning and at night. And if you wanna go to Montreal downtown area, you'll have to drive about 55 to 58 kilometers. Within the city of Saint-Jérôme, it's a little bit more congested than what it used to be, let's say a decade or two back, because now there's more population, there's more people, it's growing. So, you know, during week and the weekends, you'll have a lots more congestion within the city. Not as much as Montreal, because Montreal is really up there, but still, you'll see more and more cars and traffic within the city. It's also a pro. It's strategic location. What I mean by that is that you're in the Laurentians, so close to everything the Laurentians have to offer. Just think of Saint-Sauveur, Tremblant. But at the same time, you're not that far from a big city like Montreal, which is about an hour driving time on the weekends when there's no traffic. There's an interesting stats that I found out on the website of the city, and it touches the commute time of the citizen of Saint-Jérôme to go to work. 34% of the population only have about a 15 minutes drive to work. 30% of the population, a 15 minutes to 29 minutes drive to work. And 36% have 30 minutes or more of driving time to go to work. Those people are those that have to drive to Laval or Montreal. The second con, it's aging infrastructures and properties, its buildings, specifically in the older part of Saint-Jérôme. You'll notice it right away because there's some buildings that have been there for like 100 years. So the road infrastructure, the sewage, the aqueduct, the houses, they all need repairs and major renovations, specifically in the older part of the downtown area. The second pro, nature and outdoor activities. Of course, you'll think about the ski resorts and the Laurentians, but other than that, just living in Saint-Jérôme, you're surrounded by nature. There's more than 100 parks and green spaces. In addition to the ski resorts, you'll find a really popular place within the city of Saint-Jérôme, which is called le Parc linéaire du Petit Train du Nord. Ideal place for biking and hiking. And there's also a river within the city. And there's a parc régional de la Rivière du Nord. It attracts people from all over the place for camping, fishing, biking, all kinds of outdoor activities. Another good thing that I like that's related to nature is the fact that the air quality of Saint-Jérôme is much better than some other big cities such as Montreal, because there's not as many people, not as many buildings. So when I look on the website during summertime, I look at the air quality of Saint-Jérôme and I compare it to Montreal. It's always better, which is good. If you have kids, it's better for your lungs. The third con, the climate, in the sense that it's a little bit colder and there's more snow in Saint-Jérôme, which is part of the Laurentian, than what you'll get in Montreal or the South Shore of Montreal. For instance, if you have about 200 centimeters of snow in Montreal, you'll have maybe 250, 275 or 300 centimeters of snow in Saint-Jérôme. How will this affect your daily life? Well, if there's a big snowstorm, you wake up in the morning, you see this much snow, you'll find out really fast that instead of driving for an hour and 25 minutes to go to work, it might take you 2 hours or 2 hours and 50 minutes to go. That's a huge difference. The third pro is simply the quality of life. How can we determine if a specific place has a great quality of life? To me, of course, there's nature, but it's this slower pace that's perfect for families. You know, you're more connected with nature, but it's slower. It's not as stressful as what you'll find in Montreal, for instance. Other than that, if you're lucky, you'll find a place to buy where you have a bigger lot size, bigger land, which is great because this is, you can go in your backyard with friends, family, as opposed to other cities such as Laval or Montreal, where the lots are you're really tight from one neighbor to the next. It's really smaller lot size. But in other parts of Saint-Jérôme, you'll find lots that are really bigger than Montreal, for instance. The fourth con, car dependency. What I mean by that is that there's Bellefeuille, Saint-Antoine, Saint-Jérôme, and La Fontaine. If you don't have a car, well, you won't access all the different stores and amenities you have in the city. If you live in the downtown area, you could walk to everything you need But you eventually realize that you need a car and that you're car dependent if you live in Saint-Jérôme, because there's a good chance you'll live there, but you'll work outside the city. So you could commute using public transportation, but most people I know will use their car as well. The fourth pro, healthcare and education. Pertaining to healthcare, you got a hospital, which is really great. On top of that, you got smaller private and public clinics. You got specialized services pertaining to the health system for elderly people, for instance. So this is great because if you have kids, you need to see a doctor, you can see a specialized doctor as well within the city. You don't have to go to Montreal. Sometimes you'll have to go to Montreal to see some specialists, but the majority of the time, you'll stay within the limits of Saint-Jérôme and see the proper medical specialist. Pertaining to schools, there's a lot of elementary schools, high schools, CEGEP, which is a pre-university program, and you got a university program. So this is really great. The university doesn't have all the different programs, but there's a lot of programs that are covered, which is really an interesting element because you could stay within the limits, just drive to elementary school, high school, pre-university, and go to university within the limits of the city. The fifth con, the economic inequalities and social challenges. When you head to the downtown area of Saint-Jérôme, unfortunately, you'll see homeless people, and you'll really rapidly notice that there's some discrepancy there's some rich people, there's some poor people within the same city. Bellefeuille, which is the high-end part of the city, well, you have people with $1 million home. But in the downtown area, you got people that suffer from poverty. So there's still some improvement that need to be made in helping people that really need help, because you're faced with those problems when you walk in the street. You see some homeless people, and obviously it brings some concerns in terms of the security and all those social concerns. Other than that, now if we look at the violent crimes, there's less violent crimes in Saint-Jérôme compared to Laval or Montreal. Assault, murder, all the gang-related crimes, there's less amount of those crimes in Saint-Jérôme. But we've noticed an increased amount of crimes pertaining to all the property crimes, theft, and fraud. It's not just for Saint-Jérôme, it's all across the province. In the last couple of years, we've noticed an increase, but still less violent crime, but slight increase in property crimes. The fifth pro, services and amenities. When you live in Saint-Jérôme, I have asked a lot of my friends and clients, you have access to all the different stores you need, the groceries, the drug stores, the big box stores, the large stores like Walmart or Canadian Tire. Everything you need is within driving distance from the city, which is really great. And on top of that, you got all the different bankings, government buildings, it's all covered. And what you'll notice is that you got this economic vitality because there's so many, businesses and people that live there will buy in those businesses. So it's good for the city. It brings money to the tax, to the city for all the service they need to provide to the citizen. So there's such a big, wide range of place to go shop and buy your stuff for your home. The sixth con, in some areas, the real estate prices are less affordable or more expensive. Bellefeuille has become really popular. Supply, demand. If demand increases for single family homes, well, price go upward. And it's not just medium priced, it's high-end homes as well. But the medium sale price for homes in Bellefeuille, just to give you an example, in 2024 is $530,000. And it's Saint-Jérôme. That used to be the price of a home a couple of years back in Laval, but now it's in Saint-Jérôme as well, which is just, maybe a 30-minute drive from Laval. So that just gives you a clear idea how much price have increased in certain areas of Saint-Jérôme. The sixth pro, the cost of living. I've spoken about Bellefeuille, which is pricey, but other than that, living in Saint-Jérôme is not as expensive as living in Laval or Montreal, that's for sure. If you compare every single service, you have a haircut in Laval, it's cheaper in Saint-Jérôme. You go to a restaurant in Laval, it's cheaper in Saint-Jérôme. Not by this much, but there's a slight difference. And pertaining to the real estate market, well, if we look at the price per different areas of Saint-Jérôme, it's going to give you a clear idea. Like I said, Bellefeuille 2024 for a single family home detached. Average price, $530K. What about La Fontaine? $489,500 is the median price. Saint-Antoine, $447,450 is the exact median price. And lastly, Saint-Jérôme, $411,000 for a single family home. So you see, it's quite affordable compared to Laval, Montreal, and the other cities around Montreal. So for a family that has a tighter budget, Saint-Jérôme is a good option. I got a special extra pro for you guys, leisure and culture. If you want to be active in Saint-Jérôme, there's plenty of stuff to do. There's even a hub, a sports hub that's famous all across Quebec in Saint-Jérôme, where you have different places, different installations, and it's close to the polyvalente Saint-Jérôme. It's the sports district, and there's a lot of events, sporting events that take place over there, because I know I used to play badminton when I was a kid, soccer, hockey, and everybody in Quebec was going there. And you have the Claude-Beaulieu Sports Center with an indoor synthetic field for gymnastics. You got 2 sport rinks for hockey. You got 3 synthetic soccer and football fields. You got a provincial skate park, just like in California. You got a multi-sport park, and you got the Lac Saint-Jérôme with about 6 kilometers of trails where you can go biking and just hiking, which is really great. But this is for sports, but what about culture? Well, June, July, August, you got outdoors festivities, all kinds of free shows that are good for the family, the whole family. And even with my girlfriend and my family, sometimes we just drive up north and we go just watch those shows because it's outdoor, it's really fun. You got this big, huge theater, the biggest in the Laurentians, is about 150 shows, which is called the Théâtre Gilles Vigneault. You go on the website, you see a bunch of artists that go there to present their shows. You got the summer terraces in the downtown area of Saint-Jérôme, which is really great. And you got the nightlife as well. You can go for a bar, a sports bar, a bar where you can watch shows, a disco. You can live in Saint-Jérôme, and you don't have to go to Montreal. You can party and have fun and have a drink with your friends within the limits of your own town, which is really nice. And if you're into culture, well, there's a lot of key areas of Saint-Jérôme where you can, think back on the past, the culture. One I like the most is the former city hall that's more than 100 years old. You got the old train station as well. Everybody knows Saint-Jérôme will know those 2 areas and some other places. So you're all covered in terms of sports. You can practice with your friends, with your family, in team sports, all kinds of shows you can watch all summer long for free. So that's really great for families and even for people that live by themselves. So for those of you that live in Saint-Jérôme, what's the best thing you like personally about the city? Just write in the comments. I'm really curious to know. And if you like those kinds of videos, stick around because I got more coming up. If you have a project of buying or selling a property in Saint-Jérôme or some other areas, in the greater Montreal areas, just send us an email. Call us. We'll schedule a Zoom call, a face-to-face meeting, and we'll guide you from A to Z so that your transition is as smooth as possible. We're really there to help, so don't be shy. Write in the comments. All our information is down below. And I'm curious to know, so has the reputation of Saint-Jérôme changed in the last 1 or 2 decades? Personally, I think, of course, yes, it did. First thing, 4 cities merged. The government has invested money in the infrastructure. The clientele has changed. People from the South Shore, from Montreal, have moved there to be close to nature. I have friends from my university that moved there. The clientele, the energy, the services, just take a look at the city. Maybe some parts of the downtown are not as appealing, but when you look at the 90% of the city around this area, you'll find it's really a nice place to stay. Go check it out. I'm pretty sure you'll love it. If you have more questions, just write in the comments. If you like those kinds of videos, stick around because I got more coming up. And in the meantime, take good care of yourself.